Welcome everyone to this week's Demystifying Demons. In this show, what I do is I'm taking a demon and I'm demystifying it to tell you its true origins. To help a little bit with you to be less scared of demons, but also to show that a lot of demons really have pagan origins and they really aren't so bad. A lot of them are actually based on old gods and goddesses that used to be worshipped and did good things. Specifically, what I'm doing is working through the Goetian demons in the Ars Goetia. Now, this week's video, we're going to explore the second demon in Ars Goetia, which is Agares or Agares. There's different pronunciations that I'm finding online, but he's also known as Agarat, Agaros, and Agares. And again, there's some different pronunciations online, so I'm not too sure exactly which is the correct one. I'm going to say Agares. Agares is a prominent Goetic demon whose image, abilities, and rituals have captivated occult practitioners for centuries. Agares is venerated as the first Duke of the East, commanding between 31 and 33 legions of infernal spirits. So I'm going to take you on a journey through the historical origins of his depiction in texts like this one's hard to pronounce, Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, as well as the Lesser Key of Solomon and the Dictionnaire Infernal or the Infernal Dictionary. So as well, we're going to explore his vivid imagery, his powers, and his enduring legacy among modern occultists. So settle in as I demystify yet another demon. Excuse any mispronunciations during this video. I did my best. If it's something that you want to yell at me about, go ahead, throw it in the comments. Greek origins. So before the Ars Goetia and all these other books showed up, it's actually believed that Agares' original origins are Greek. Many people believe that the name Argus ended up turning into Agares. And Argus is a figure in Greek legend. The most popular account is Argus, the son of Inachus, Agnor, or Arestor. As well, Argus was an Aboriginal hero. His story goes back to the very beginning of Greece. The name Argus derives from the 100 eyes in his head or all over his body, as he's often depicted on the red figure pottery from the late 16th century BC in Athenia. In Greek mythology, Argus was a giant with many eyes who served as a watchman for the goddess Hera. He was known for his vigilance and was often depicted with hundreds of eyes as further imagery for his role as a watchman. And just a few of what Argus's tasks were, let's go over his list. Argus was tasked with guarding Io, a priestess of Hera who Zeus had transformed into a cow. Argus was also sent to unalive the Echidna, a creature that was half human and half serpent. Argus also took out a savage bull that was running loose in Arcadia and made a cloak from its skin. Now, in this story, Argus did pass away. Argus was slain by Hermes, who is named the Slayer of Argus in the Homeric poems. Hera ended up transferring all of Argus's eyes to the tail of the peacock, and that's the story of how the eyes on a peacock's tail were born, pretty much. This is like an old story that was passed down from the beginning of, it was from the Aboriginal peoples of Greece. It actually goes really far back. So Argus's legacy, the idiom Argus-eyed means someone who's keen-sighted, observant, and vigilant. Argus's fate is mentioned in a number of Greek tragedies and Ovid's Metamorphoses. Other figures with the name Argus also exist too. This was sort of like the first one, but there's a lot more that did show up. Other references to the name Argus, they could be named after the Argus from this tale, or they could be using the name as in like a watcher, a protector. Some of the other Argus references are, there's a story of Argus was the builder and name essentially of the ship Argo and consequently one of the Argonauts. There's also a dog named Argos in the Odyssey as well, in Homer's Odyssey. And then Argeus, which is closer to like the name of our demon, was the king of the Argos of the Abintiad dynasty. I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize. The son of Megapenthes and possibly the father of Anaxagoras. The kings of Argos came before the establishment of democracy. The ancient Greek city-state of Argos was ruled by these kings. And these kings, most of them are mythical or only semi-historical. So this is sort of like before democracy and before the civilization of ancient Greece. I just want to add, if you take a look at my Oracle of Delphi video that I just recently did, I actually talk about the kings of Argos and Delphi and the kingdoms and stuff and how they were like worshipped and represented at Delphi, and it kind of grew from there. So you can take a look at that video too. I'll try to remember to link it to this one. So I did a little bit more digging, trying to see if I could find out any more about the origins of Agares, and I did find, like I said, there was that king Argeus, something like that, of Argos, and not a whole lot is about him. It does say that he was a king of the Abintiad dynasty, and he was actually a real king, not a mythological king. But there isn't a whole lot really about him too much. But the other thing I found that's interesting is Agares also goes by Agarat. And I found there is a demon from Jewish mythology called Agarat bat Malat. And I just thought that this was interesting as well, because I wonder where they got this demon, where it got started from. Apparently it's like a bat, a daughter of a bat, something like that. So it's like a female bat, and apparently she is the queen of the demons and an angel of sacred lady of the night, if you know what I mean. She apparently was mated with Archangel Samael, along with Lilith and Nama, sometimes adding Isheth as a fourth mate. I'm not too familiar with Nama and Isheth. Also, she's one of 4 angels of the sacred, Lady of the Night stuff. And I guess all 4 of them actually mate with Samael. Her succubi sisters are Lilith, Nama, Isteth. Essentially, these were the first succubus demons that showed up and under Jewish religion, and then it kind of grew from there. But these demons were around before the King Solomon. It said that they visited King Solomon. So I wonder if they're somehow related to this as well. Because this Agrat Bat Malat is actually in very ancient texts. Apparently it goes really far back. Where some of these demons that she supposedly mates with are in the Talmud, in the Zohar, and some other texts as well. There's references to them visiting King Solomon, so it's kind of related to the Solomon as well. In 1663, there's a Kabbalistic treaty that explains that this Agrat Bat Malat was the daughter to Ishmael and his wife, who was herself daughter of an Egyptian sorceress, Kazdiel. Mother and daughter were exiled to the desert, where the demon Yggdrasil mated with Mahalet, and I guess she gave birth to Agrat and Egrat, and Mahalet later became Esau's wife. I'm reading this off Wikipedia, so it's kind of interesting. It looks like this name goes down a bit of a bunch of paths here. So this demon could be all related into this together. But Mahalat means bat, and Agrat means daughter of in Hebrew. And if Agares' other name is Agarat, I wonder if Agares maybe was supposed to be a daughter of something instead of like a male. Maybe it was supposed to be more a female figure, or maybe from the original text, or maybe from the original pagan origins, maybe it came from like a sort of non-binary kind of character too. So we don't know for sure, but like those are some different paths as well on top of what I already discussed in this video. I just wanted to add them in because there's a bit of different rabbit holes here when it comes to Agares and the side names that he goes by. So it could possibly be linked in any of these locations. And I suspect there's probably an Egyptian link here. And maybe that is where the original stuff kind of came from, but we don't have the sources directly. Demonic references in texts. Agares as a demon first emerges from the rich dark tapestry of Renaissance-era demonology. His name appears in several influential texts that laid out the foundation for modern occult practice. In the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemon, sorry, that one's a hard one for me to say. That one was written in 1577 by Johann Weyer, often referred to as the false monarchy of demons. Agares is cataloged as a powerful entity of the infernal hierarchy in it. He also features prominently in the Lesser Key of Solomon, which was released in the mid 17th century. That's when it showed up. But it was said to have been written during the reign of King Solomon, which is 970 to 931 BCE. Particularly within its first section, the Ars Goetia, which is dedicated to detailing 72 demons allegedly summoned by King Solomon himself for raising up his kingdom. And I just want to mention it in this video because I don't really mention it in the first one as a reminder for any of you who didn't watch my other Ars Goetia videos that are much older, and that's fine. I just want to remind you all that the Ars Goetia initially, when you read it, it actually doesn't refer to these beings as demons. It actually calls them spirits. And based on like what the scholars say and the research I've done, it looks like they started off as spirits, then they became jinn. They become demons later. I believe when the Infernal Dictionary gets released is when they start being labeled as actual demons. So at first in the Ars Goetia, it was just a list of spirits, which a bunch of them are based off deities, but some of them are based off, we'll get to all of them eventually. But just keep that in mind that they weren't really labeled demons necessarily, and they weren't really necessarily evil either. They were spirits. And the way it's originally presented, it's presented in such a way that you're pretty much taking control of said spirit. You're taking advantage of them and you're forcing them to do your will. So if they get angry and lash back, that makes sense, right? So that's the only thing to keep in mind with these demons and the Ars Goetia. They get this bad rap, but it's because they're being forced into doing stuff too. So there's a bit of that back and forth in the text. Just remember all that, because the point of the series that I'm doing is to try to demystify demons and make you realize they're not like these dangerous, omnipotent, whatever things, not even necessarily that they're real, but the basis of them, their original origin, is not these like creatures that crawl out of hell and only care about doing bad things. Their history starts most often in a good place, and it got twisted as time went on. In these texts, Agares is described as the second demon, thereby placing him really high in the demonic order, though he's still subordinate to the demonic monarchy, represented by the first demon, Baal or Baal, who we discussed in the last episode. The Lesser Key of Solomon is an anonymous work that has over the centuries become a cornerstone for those who study and work with the demonic entities. It's divided into 5 sections. It offers detailed descriptions, powers, and summoning instructions for each of the 72 demons that it lists. Agares is given special attention not only for his commanding role as the first Duke of the East, but also for his association with the Order of Virtues, a detail that suggests that he may have once been connected to a higher, more righteous state before descending into darkness. In these texts, he is said to be under the rulership of the Kabbalistic angel Lealil, an association that further layers his identity with esoteric meaning and hints at a complex, multifaceted nature that continues to fascinate scholars and occult practitioners alike. As well, French occultist Colin Deplancy's Dictionary Infernal, which is the Infernal Dictionary, in 1818 it was published. It provides additional insight into his nature, often emphasizing his noble qualities as the Grand Duke of the eastern part of hell. Imagery and iconography. One of the most striking aspects of Agares is his unique, almost paradoxical appearance. Unlike a grotesque or hideous demon form we often associate with demons, Agares is depicted as a fair, elderly, or sometimes handsome young man. However, this form is a facade. It's anything but benign because he's actually riding a very fierce mode of transportation. And according to the Ars Goetia, he appears to be riding upon a crocodile, and he carries a goshawk or sparrowhawk upon his fist, and I'll add a picture of that as well on the screen. Some accounts even offer an alternative image of him riding a cockatrice instead of a crocodile, though prevailing depiction remains that it's the crocodile riding duke is how he's known. The symbolism embedded in the imagery is very rich and layered. The crocodile is traditionally associated with ancient primal wisdom and a lurking danger that remains hidden beneath the surface of calm waters. It is said that the crocodile may remain concealed beneath a river, emerging only when the opportunity to strike presents itself. Or even that Agares feigns drowning to lure unsuspecting rescuers to their doom. And I do wonder if there's any sort of association as well with a crocodile watching and, you know, the watcher from Greek mythos and stuff. There could be a connection there. But the other connection is the hawk that he has with them. That represents noble oversight and keen perception, and a nod to the Aristotelic traditions of the Middle Ages, where such birds were reserved exclusively for nobility during hunting expeditions. But it's also a nod to the Greek Argos because it's watchmen, and those birds are there to watch and find things for them. Together, these elements attempt to create an image of Agares that is both disarming and terrifying. A figure whose very gentle and human-like appearance may lull one into a false sense of security, yet whose true power is revealed through his fearsome animal companions. Moreover, the detailed description provided in the Ars Goetia states as follows. The second spirit is a duke called Agrias or Agares. He's under the power of the east and cometh up in the form of an old fair man, riding upon a crocodile, carrying a goshawk upon his fist, and yet mild in appearance. He maketh them run that stand still, and bringeth back runaways. He hath power also to destroy dignities, both spiritual and temporal, and causeth earthquakes. He was one of the order of virtues. He hath under his government 31 legions of spirits. And this is his seal or character, which thou shalt wear as a layman before thee. So this passage not only illustrates his striking physical form, but also introduces us to the diverse, powerful abilities he actually wields. Abilities that form the crux of his demonic identity and why people call upon him. Powers, abilities, and symbolic significance. Agares is renowned for an array of supernatural abilities that set him apart from other demons in the infernal hierarchy. One of his most celebrated powers is his mastery over language. He's said to teach all languages and tongues from ancient dialects long forgotten to modern languages. This enables him to be able to communicate with any being, human, demon, creature, or whatever it may be. This extraordinary linguistic prowess not only symbolizes his intellectual and mystical authority, but it also serves as a potent lure to those who seek forbidden knowledge. Also, this whole symbolism has a provocative twist. This ability can be seen as a direct challenge to the biblical narrative of the Tower of Babel, where God confounded human language to prevent unification against divine will. If Agares were capable of restoring or granting complete command over language, it would be a direct defiance of that divine intervention, potentially uniting humanity in rebellion. In addition to his mastery of language, Agares possesses the power to compel those who are inactive to run. He can target the slothful, the unambitious, or those who have forsaken their noble causes of faith. His ability to bring back runaways suggests that he exerts a corrupting influence over those who have abandoned their beliefs. He is able to coerce them to return in order to serve his dark agenda. And this is all stuff according to the Ars Goetia. I'm reading you the lore of the Ars Goetia. Moreover, he has the terrifying capacity to destroy both spiritual and temporal dignities. By causing earthquakes, he disrupts the natural order and undermines established authorities, ranging from worldly leaders like the Pope and the clergy to even dignified ranks of angelic beings. Such disruptive power not only serves to sow chaos among those who rely on societal and spiritual structures, but it also cements his reputation as a force capable of upending order wherever he goes, essentially an agent of chaos. The dual nature of his abilities, which is the capacity to both educate and devastate, it illustrates the profound complexity of Agares. It further underscores his role as an agent of chaos, a demon who does not simply exist for destruction, but also to disrupt the fundamental order of both the physical and spiritual realms. He's very much a demon that has two sides. He has like the unsuspecting human side, then the animals, the crocodiles, and then he has the intellect side, and then the chaos and destruction. Ritual symbolism. The ritualistic framework that accompanies the summoning of Agares is very intricate as much as it is deliberate. Every element, from the specific dates and directions of the chosen symbols of metal, color, and incense, it all plays a vital role in ensuring that the practitioner can establish a stable connection with him. This rings true for all the Goetian demons, or really any pagan deities, as well as any gods that came before them as well. This is all standard practice, ritual, spell setup. But just for example, some of the intricacies of these rituals, let's go over a few keynotes about Agares specifically that you would have to do in a ritual. So it's said that his energies are most effectively accessed during designated periods, typically March 31st to April 10th, though some sources provide alternate date ranges as well. These dates are believed to hold a special resonance with his power, so those are the dates that it's better to reach out to him. And each of these demons have a set of dates like this. In ritual settings, Agares is associated with the cardinal direction east. As in hell, he's known as the first Duke of East. In some cultures, East is symbolically associated with new beginnings, light, dawn, and the source of life. It can also represent renewal as well, and wisdom and understanding. As well, the East is also associated in Christianity, associated with the second coming and paradise and heaven. In a lot of occult practices, modern day, the East direction is associated with the air, which is new ideas, communication, intellectual capacity, and inspiration. And if you think about it, he does actually teach a lot of different stuff, and he's very knowledgeable with all the languages and everything too. So the East kind of works with the whole wisdom and knowledge kind of thing. In the realm of divination, his influence is connected with the tarot card known as the Three of Wands. And this suggests enterprise, vision, and the expansion of communication. Just an FYI, there are some differing opinions on the tarot card attached to them. Some people say it's actually the Five of Wands. And I looked at some of the other demons to see if there's tarot cards, because Crowley kind of invented tarot. Well, in a way, he turned it into a divination tool. So he related things back to all these. But I can't find his direct relation for each Ars Goetia demon to what card in the tarot deck. And then somebody released a tarot deck, like they did a Kickstarter and they released it. And that seems to have muddied the waters as well. So I may not be correct in this tarot thing here. And I think I'll probably leave it out of future videos, because it looks like people are saying different cards like in different places. I think that the guy who released his deck may have muddied the Google results on that, because the Crowley stuff is a little all over the place. So anyway, I just wanted to give that bit of an update. I probably won't relate tarot going forward, just because I tried to fact check all this and it got a little confusing. But I'll leave this in here just so you know, because in case you're wondering why I'm not talking about the tarot cards related to each of the demons. Additionally, his powers are linked to the planet Venus, the metal copper, and the element earth, underscoring his connection to both the natural world and the material plane. His energy resonates with the color green, the plant, the carnation flower, and incense such as sandalwood or myrrh. There's also a notable alignment with the zodiac sign of Aries, a symbol of boldness and initiative. The full ritual for summoning Agares or any of the Goetian demons involves a complex series of invocations, sigils, offerings, etc. But it relates back into that's an example of some of the things. I won't go into the details about all these rituals in these videos, but you can research it more if you are curious about that. I do go into a little bit more about the Lesser Key of Solomon, and I show some of the diagrams and the symbols and the ritual stuff in my video, which I'm going to make a clip of my 2 Ars Goetia videos, and I'm going to combine them together, and I'm releasing it before the first in this Demon Demystifying series. So you'll see it pretty soon, but I will link it as well to this video. The similarities of invocation to old pagan rituals is very clear. It's all very similar. Legacy and scholarly interpretations. Throughout the centuries, the figure of Agares has captured the imagination of both occult practitioners and scholars of demonology. In the Pseudo-Menarchia Daemonum and the Lesser Key of Solomon, his description is uniform and detailed, emphasizing his role as the second spirit among the 72 demons, and in his command is between 31 and 33 legions of infernal spirits. Also in the text, each of the listed demons, they'll either have like infernal spirits that they have command over or infernal demons. Demons are, of higher abilities and whatever, right? Because they're, I guess, fallen angels, things like that. But spirits are supposed to be like souls, as far as I understand it, like human souls that they've turned. So when you hear, as we go through each demon, some of them are going to have a legion of demons. Some of them are going to have a legion of souls or spirits. Agares as the Grand Duke of the eastern part of hell. This title not only highlights his dominion over the eastern realms, but also underscores his ability to compel those who have deserted noble causes or their faith to return and serve his dark agenda. The Dictionnaire Infernal further elaborates on his role in making deserters return, and as well his power to destroy dignities, both spiritual and temporal. So he sort of has like control over people that are lost their way. These scholarly interpretations have enriched our understanding of Agares, imbuing him with a complexity that transcends a simple demonic archetype. Agares continues to inspire modern occultists who view him as not only a powerful demon, but also a symbol of the intricate interplay between divine order and internal chaos, or infernal chaos. He's like a yin and yang kind of demon, as we have been discussing. There's two sides to him. Agares is celebrated for his profound mastery over both the natural and supernatural realms. His multifaceted nature, combining a gentle human-like appearance with a devastating chaotic powers, serves as a reminder of the complexity of the duality of human nature itself. His imagery is very much duality. In the end, the demon Agares is complex and an enduring figure in demonic literature, a being whose intricate legacy is preserved in texts that span centuries, from Renaissance grimoires to modern occult practices. A demon who possibly has origins in pagan mythos of ancient Greece. A being that was never evil or demonic in nature. A being who fell the same fate as other pagan beings, twisted into something evil and perverse in an effort to push aside old world religion and traditions, all to further the rise of the one God religion and condemn those who would not convert. And that's what the majority of these demons really are. They have pagan origins and they got twisted into these things. But I hope that this video has given you further understanding of the origins of yet another demon and helped to demystify demons even more as something not to be feared, but something once a tale of pagan religions and lore that became twisted over time. If you've enjoyed this video as well, please like, subscribe, and also share your thoughts below in the comments. Our next Demystifying Demons, we're going to work on the third demon in the Ars Goetia, Vasago. As well, I'd like to thank all the members and supporters. It means a lot. It really does help out the channel. As a reminder, membership does include early access, ad-free viewing, as well as access to special members' videos throughout the month too, and also our recording sessions that we do monthly. But that is enough of me gabbing away here. Thank you all for watching, and as always, stay curious.